Oh, then you're
Hello, everyone. Welcome, Barbed Wire Bite Podcast. We're here as always with your host, Pitbull number one, Gary Wolf. How's it going today?
awesome. Sitting here icing my ass. Might as well do two things at once.
Still bothering you?
No, actually, it's getting a lot better. A lot better. So just keep icing it. Ice always helps. Works out the best.
Rub some CBD on it.
Yeah. I got some antibiotic. I got some cream that's like an antibiotic. It's actually for your skin. So that's been hitting it, and what it does is just draws everything out of it. So I bruised my hip pretty fucking bad. It's a lot of blood all over the place. So, but it's coming up to the surface now and getting all yellow and green, like us wrestlers know what our bruises look like.
You
They're
know,
not they're not normal people bruises.
that makes me wonder. In ECW days, did you guys have medics in the back?
Oh fuck yeah, we had
Did you?
medics.
Okay.
We had a whole medic crew. Yeah, stretcher and all. Shit, man. Plus, we had a doctor on call who was a expert ankle doctor at the time. That was his forte, ankle. So if you, God forbid, you blew your ankle, sprained your ankle, at least you had one of the best doctors in Philadelphia.
Was
Dr.
that Raven's roommate?
Yes, Dr. Moore.
Okay, I remember that because I remember a story Raven told once where he was like checking on somebody and told the guy, "I saved lives." Like, well, you're a foot doctor. What are you talking about? You say, I thought that was funny.
Oh, yo, I was in the room. I remember I was at the hospital with New Jack because his ankle was messed up, and Mark was looking at his ankle, and that's when they were filming a part of a documentary. I guess it was a part of one of ECW's documentary that came out or something, but they never aired it. I don't know what happened, but I had my halo on because I broke my neck, and in the meantime, uh, Jerome New Jack, he had bad problems with his ankles from doing those dives off, 30 feet, 40 feet, out of the sky. And he had to stick a needle. It had to be an 18 gauge and it had to be like that long, like right in his ankle. And the film guy's like, he's filming him, he's looking at me, and I think he was overwhelmed, like, holy shit. Like these guys are really getting banged up. Like it was some kind of documentary they were filming, but I think it was too hardcore for them to video it. Like I'm totally swear they looked pale when they saw me in a halo, and then they seen what was New Jack was going through. Because you just put that in, you don't get no shot or nothing to numb it. They just spray it with a little ice, and that's it. You got to deal with it, man.
I just can't picture Raven living with the foot doctor for some reason.
Dude, it was awesome, man. It was Tommy Big Arms. I got to shout out to my boy Tommy Big Arms. So it was three guys living there, and they lived on South Street. So it was Tommy Big Arms, Raven, and Dr. Mark Allen. And they lived right on South Street, 10th and South. So I lived on 7th and Annan, which is like right near 7th and Washington. So I'm like 4 blocks away, 6 blocks. So I'd ride my bike to his house. He would jump on his bike, Raven, and we would go bike riding through the city, me and my partner, Raven. If we drove, we would take Hack with us because Hack ain't jumping on no bicycle. Forget about it.
I don't blame him
That
there.
ain't happening with him. But at one time, we all went out and bought bikes, and we would drive to 22nd and Oregon, no, 22nd and Sampson, it was. And that's where World Gym was. And we had a good friend that ran that place and owned the place. And they actually sponsored me and Anthony, which was awesome. So we got World Gym, everything for free. It was great. And it was one of the best gyms there was. I mean, it was a Gold's, and then World's bought it and turned it into a World's after they bought everything from Arnold Schwarzenegger, because he owned the first Gold's gym.
I can't picture Raven on a bicycle now.
Dude, he goes back and he can't believe what great shape he was in ECW. He'll tell you right now, if you talk to him and just mention, like, I noticed in ECW, man, you were pretty jacked, because he was going to the gym with me and Anthony Monday through Thursday, without a doubt, guaranteed. We were at the gym, and he would come with us because we would go work out, then we would go eat, we'd have lunch. You know, we would down a whole fucking jerk chicken each. You know what I'm saying? Because in South Philly, you know, you go to South Street, they had all them awesome places and stuff. So we had a blast, man. I mean, he even had a deck on his apartment where those guys were renting, where we had a party on top of it, man. It was awesome, man. It was awesome.
Yeah, he lives down in, where does he live now? It's like, is in Florida now?
He's in Atlanta, I think.
Atlanta. Okay. I knew he wasn't up in the East Coast anymore, but I when I interviewed him, that was well over, it was before the pandemic. So it's been going on 2 years now.
Yeah, he's probably still in Atlanta. He was in Florida for a little bit. I think his parents are in Florida, but he's probably still in Atlanta.
Because that was a shoot, wasn't it? That he came from a wealthy family?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I would think so. Yeah, because I mean, he wasn't from, I mean, he came to the Monster Factory from Florida, I think. You know what I mean? He was one of them guys that, you know, hardcored it. I mean, once he moved, what he did was he moved to Cherry Hill, and then he got tight with a couple friends, and then I introduced him to a couple people, and then we all, you know, it was all friends of ours. And he ended up moving in with one of them guys, and then before you know it, he was in South Philly, and because I was in South Philly first before anybody was. I was trying to keep my partner in New Jersey because he was living with his dad in New Jersey, which was perfect. You know what I mean? Keeps you out of trouble and stuff. So city can be very bad for you, living in a city. All you got to do is press a button and you can get whatever you want knocking on your door right behind you. You know what I'm saying?
That's not a bad thing.
No, it's not a bad thing, but it could be a bad thing.
Can be a bad thing. Yeah, that's
It can
true.
be a bad thing. You know what I'm saying? And especially back in the 90s, that's a bad thing.
Ironically, Amazon is bringing me something now, so that's why you hear my dogs barking. See, you can still get anything that you want.
True. I guess so. Yeah. Yeah, nowadays it's I look at it as there's no work to it. You know what I mean? There's nothing to it. You know, when we were younger, most people, I don't know if people are even young enough that are watching this would realize that, but the older guys that are watching this knows when we were younger, we had to go work for that shit. You know, we didn't just get on the phone and go boop, 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 come over. You know, we had to get dressed, take a shower, put some clothes on. We had to spend about $150, $300 in fucking clothes just to go out, pick up some chick, and then what? Take her out on a date, maybe get laid, you know, and then you go for the 1, 2, or 3 date gimmick. And if it don't work, kick her to the curb.
Yep.
You know, back in them days, it was totally different, man. You know what I mean?
Now you can, I mean, even them farmers, they have that farmers app where farmers can date.
Oh, no.
That cracks me up, man.
You're from Nebraska.
Yeah, they do, man. They've got, it's the farmers only, man. If you're a farmer, you just log on, you can date other farmers.
No, I know farmersonly.com.
Farmersonly.com.
They show that down here in Florida like crazy, man. Then they put these hot bitches in these fucking little jeans and cowboy boots.
You know that ain't what they look like.
No way, man.
Contrary, we don't have a shitload of farmers where I am. We are at one time, though. I think we still are the STD capital of the world, so we have that going for us here.
Nebraska?
Hell yeah.
Bill Bradley.
And then what, over in Iowa, you know, like across the bridge, that's the meth capital of the world. So you can get an STD and meth all within 5 minutes.
He's totally ignoring Bill Bradley from Nebraska.
I don't even know who Bill Bradley is.
You don't know who Bill Bradley is?
Wow, let me look him up.
Bill Brasky? It's Bill Brasky.
Bill Bradley.
No, Bill Brasky. From
Bill
Nebraska.
Brasky?
Yeah, from Nebraska.
He pulls up.
So that's
Bill
an else
Brasky.
shit.
Oh, Saturday Night Live. Okay.
It's a fucking trip. Will Ferrell just blows my mind.
I like Will Ferrell.
It's fucking hilarious, man. Especially with the cowbell gimmick, that one video he did. And Christopher Walken comes in. Listen, guys.
I like Christopher Walken a
Oh,
lot.
he's the man. You kidding me? That dude, straight up, man, would have somebody piss their pants, man, if he wanted them to. Just by his voice and his eyes and the tone. You don't fuck with him, man. I wouldn't fuck with him, especially from Pulp Fiction. When he went up to that kid, he said, "See this watch? This watch has been up my ass." Okay,
Like the
for
whole
2.5, 3 years. Okay. I'm in fucking North Korea with a fucking watch that your dad gave me, your grandpa. Make sure you have it.
He had to go back and get it.
Yes, he did. And fucking Zed fucked up, bro. You guys gotta watch. If you people out there, and it's true, believe it or not, Doc, there's kids out there that don't even know what fucking Pulp Fiction is.
I know. I
And it
work
blows
with
my
I work
mind.
with a lot of those people.
I was ready to smack this kid, man. I was just like, both of you and your girlfriend go watch the fucking video right now, man.
Yep.
How dare you not know what the hell that is? It just blew my mind.
Oh, I remember just seeing that in the theater, just like because there was never anything like it. Never, there really still isn't anything really like it.
I went out and bought the soundtrack. That's how good that was.
Yeah, I had to. I had it on cassette.
Oh, yeah.
I gotta listen to it in the car.
Because that's what, I mean, back in them days, I had that blasting, that CD was blasting, or that DVD or fucking cassette tape I had was blasting. We were partying away, man.
That's why I liked when ECW used the busting surfboards for the videos at the end.
Oh yeah, that was a classic thing. You know,
I watch that on the network and it's just like rain. It's like I can't watch that shit on there. I mean, it looks good the way they cleaned it up, but without the music, it don't work.
They ruined it. They know they ruined it. They just say it's better now, but it's never gonna be like it was. And I said it before, like I said before, if they would have made the idea that they had set up where Shane took it over, it would have been awesome. I guarantee we would have got another 10 years out of it. I could have retired there. You know what I mean?
Because you guys were all making a good living there, weren't you?
We were. I would have stayed, and I wouldn't have went to WCW. I would have stayed there and worked it 2 days a week. You know what I mean? It was perfect. It was a different kind of work, but you got to be home with your family. You know what I mean? That was the difference. So you only work 2 days a week instead of being home a day, 2 half days and 1 full day. That's all these people get now, especially now that they're back on the road. And they're going to start doing arenas and start doing house shows. They're going to be working, figure Monday, Tuesday, get off Wednesday, back at it by Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday.
I wonder if AEW is going to do that hectic of a schedule.
They're on like a 3-dayer right now. I think 3 or 4 day. I'm going to give Jerry Lynn a call this coming week. I just got to figure out what day.
They seem to kind of stay in Florida a lot. They kind of go east, like New York, Philly, Florida. They don't, or then they hit the Midwest, being like Minnesota, Illinois. They don't really go everywhere. But I heard that they're actually selling out buildings faster than Vince is right now.
Yeah, they're moving some tickets.
Their tickets are also cheaper. I think people need to take that into effect.
Oh, they're a lot cheaper. They made it a lot more reasonable, which was smart. Isn't Vince getting like $75 a ticket or something like that?
When we went to Monday Night Raw a couple years ago, the front row tickets were a little over $1,200 a piece. Whereas AEW, I've heard that their ringside tickets are a couple $100, but you get to meet and greet all the guys beforehand. That's a pretty good deal.
It's a great deal.
I'd love to go hang out with Dr. Britt Baker. What's her boyfriend got to do? I'm 4 of him.
I know, right?
I mean, I didn't notice that the other day. I was looking at my wife and I was like, now when I'm looking at him, I said, he kind of reminds me of Shawn Michaels, the way his mouth looks. And then the more I looked at him, I was like, plus he's just a stick. He's not 200 pounds, maybe 170 at best.
I'm going to say 160.
Yeah, there's no, when Daniel Bryant looks all swole next to you, that's bad.
Daniel Bryant looks fucking awesome, unless he just looks that bit much bigger than them guys are. I don't get it. You know, I mean, I know he's happier because his work's so much better. He's able to do whatever he wants to do. I think, like, he's not, because believe me, I've worked for Vince, and I've had guys come up to me like Jim Cornette and say, "Oh, I don't want you doing that move tonight." And I'm not stupid. I know why you're telling me not to do it, because it's going to get over. You know what I mean? Obviously, that's why you're telling me not to do it. So of course I'm going to look at him, because I'm not the guy that shuts my mouth. I'm always the guy that has to say something next. And I'm like, Jim, what the fuck's the problem? Like, why? Why not? I want to know the reason why. I want you to tell me the reason why. I know the reason. I know you know the reason, but I want to just hear you say it. I mean, what the fuck? So he was just like, I don't want you using it. We're in Philly. Yeah, it's going to get over, blah, blah, blah. The bangers are going over on you. So just, you know, go with the flow. I said, okay, no problem. I have no problem with that. So me and Anthony just worked it in the finish anyway. You know, we were putting the heat on them. We had them down. Fucking Ant went to the top. I picked them up. I handed them to him. He was getting ready to give him the fucking super bomb. The place was going to pop. He reversed it with a Frankensteiner. That's the only way to get out of it.
Yeah.
And Thunderlager showed us that and gave us that move. And he told, I think Glenn actually took it. Glenn took it. Did the Frankensteiner, boom, did their finish, 1, 2, 3, and we put them over. We didn't do our move. We set it up, but we didn't do it. But we just gave the people a taste. Because even the commentaries, the guys that were doing commentaries were even saying it. Like, look at these guys. They're keeping up with the headbangers. Can they beat them tonight? Will they beat them tonight? So that's what they were saying. And we were just going in to just do a dark match. You know, in 1998 it was. We were, you know, as soon as that, we were like, you know, all right, maybe we'll go back and work for Vince. You know what I'm saying? At that point. But then it was just like, okay, you're playing games. You know, that's when I moved to Australia. I stayed there for almost a year. I lived there. I was going to move there.
Well, when you mentioned how Daniel Bryant was doing good, now here's what I wanted to ask you. I thought about this today in my spare time. When AEW started, they always stressed the fact you got to put in the work. You got to put in the work. And they've got those bullshit. I hate them. It's because it's not real fighting. 15 wins, 2 losses. I don't like that. But and then they reset them every year. But you see, they stressed. You have to put in the work. You have to put in the work. But you have guys like MJF. He's been there since the beginning. He's here. He hasn't moved. Darby Allin, he's come up a little bit. Sammy Guevara a little bit. But all these other guys, the Best Friends, Orange Cassidy, even Jericho and his gang, they're all just kind of here, where these new WWE guys are coming in and they're shot right to the top, like Daniel Bryant, right with Omega. You know what? Christian Cage came in right with Omega. Do you think that the guys that have been there in the beginning are kind of getting pushed to the side?
Malachi Black, the push they're giving him.
He's getting pushed, but he's old. I mean, he's also big, but he's not been there since. But he's brand new. I mean, how would you feel if you were like, say, an FTR, an MJF, a Guevara?
If I was an MJF, I'd keep my mouth shut, and I would fucking go up to them, introduce yourself to them, tell them who you are, which they'll know anyway, and they'll be happy to meet you. And I would sit back and I would learn. I'd keep my mouth shut and I would learn. That's what I would do. I mean, those guys got 10, 15 years of wrestling on some of them guys. You know what I'm saying? Especially like Dustin. You know what I mean?
Do you think Orange Cassidy will ever be like a world champion over there? Or is he just gimmick right here?
He's a gimmick, I think. But if they push him and they throw a strap on him, he'll get over. I mean, big time, he'll get over. I mean, that could be a really good merchandise gimmick for him and for the company. You know, I don't like I'm getting bored. Like, you said earlier with the Punk, you know, he comes out first match. Bro was kind of blown up too.
Yeah,
He's blown. Yo, did you see him huffing and
yeah,
puffing, right?
he
Okay.
can't keep up.
I don't want you to think I was the only one. No, that kid could fucking work his ass off. You got to remember, he's a young kid, man. He's from Clearwater. He's a good fucking worker. He could you name the shit, he can do it. All kinds of flips. I don't know if he was a gymnast before, but the motherfucker could do everything. You know, so working against him looks very easy if you let him do all the work, because he can. You know, it seemed like Punk was trying to do too much, and he was huffing and puffing, bro. You know, they put some time. He wanted to show he could put time in, but I think I even told my girl this. It just seems to me that they're building them up. Like, you know, they're not putting them in that big match. The big match was Darby Allin, which it was Sting, and it was, you know, it was a kind of gimmick match.
And the match, I thought the match stunk. I thought it was very boring.
It was just, that was the biggest name that he's wrestled there, I think.
His only name he's wrestled there.
That's what I'm saying. So right now, in the meantime, I think they're trying to get him ring shape, you know, while they're out there, which I thought he would already be in ring shape because of the fact that, you know, he was doing that heels, you know, and that's a lot of hours and long work, man, doing those shows. Even as a wrestler, it'll blow your mind how many times every spot you see they videotape on that show. I guarantee you they had to do that spot at least 15 times before they said, cut, okay, next one, the next spot. Believe me, they do. That's how it works.
Now, what do you think? Because I know in wrestling and in any aspect of life, you make mistakes. I know, like I go all the way back to UWF. If there was a botched move, it didn't make the TV show. You know, Paulie he'd show things in clips, just the highlight forms, which they've always done in Japan. AEW, when that show is live, I get it. You fuck up live. But if you're making a mistake on a show that's edited for TV, do you think those botches should be left in there? I watched Jericho fall around and Ellico and Jack Evans fall around. I mean, the last Rampage, the Bucks, them couldn't even do the powerbomb spot. That should all be edited out. That's not live TV. I think it makes the product look kind of bad.
See, I don't know how it works. I mean, I'm trying to think of what Bruce Pritchard does, because he sits at a table and he has all these monitors. So I'm thinking he's got one camera, the hard camera, and then he's got 1, 2, probably 3 cameras around the ring. So what has to happen is that person who is working that camera or who's watching that whole show has to say, all right, camera 2, jump on it. Camera 3, get off that. They just fucking botched it. You know what I'm saying? Like somehow, and there is a delay. There is like a 30, there's some kind of delay. I don't know how long it is. It's a few seconds, but it's enough to edit out some stuff. I know that. But if you just switch the camera guy, it would change a lot of things too. But they're going live. That's the hard thing about it, though. You know what I mean? When you do live TV, I mean, that's why when I would work for Vince, you know, and we're doing live television, they say, be kind of stiff, lay it in. And those guys are still so light, I have to literally be looking at them when they're hitting me. So I know I got hit. I mean, because if I wasn't looking at them, like if the boss man hit me, I wouldn't know he even touched me, or the big, or the one man gang. You know what I'm saying? Like I wouldn't even know. That's how light they are. I mean, I didn't realize that till I went up there and started working for them. I used to beat the shit out of myself and everybody in the school, you know, and I always used to wonder why Larry was laughing. You know, he's like, oh, you're looking at your chest, you know, from chops. We're almost bleeding. That's how bad our chest looked. I mean, we didn't care because we just wanted to get like hard. Like we wanted to be, you could body slam us on a car, we're going to get right up. Where if a normal person get body slammed on a car, you can get up. You know what I'm saying? That's how we wanted to be. And just by practicing in the ring, we ended up being that way. We didn't even realize it. I mean, I came home, I was coming home from wrestling school on Christmas. It was Christmas week. Had to be late 80s, like 89, almost 90. And I remember driving down 2nd Street and I see these two black guys jumping this old lady, taking all her bags from Toys R Us. And they were all the gifts for her kids. And I remember, man, I just jumped out of my car. I still had my knee pads on and my sneakers. I didn't wrestle in boots at that point. I didn't buy a pair of boots yet. You know, we still, he wouldn't let you buy boots until you earned them at that school at that time, you know. We couldn't wait to get our boots, man. And I remember beating the shit out of 2 guys, man, because they tried to steal these ladies' bags, man. I felt bad. But I was on my way home from wrestling school. I'm like, I couldn't believe it, man. I was in shock. Like, because guys were right across the street and they didn't even do anything. And I'm just like, what are you guys doing? Just sitting there watching this and not even helping her, you know? I left my car running. Somebody could have just jumped in my car and took off, you know? But
Arn Anderson would have came and helped her with his Glock. He'd have splattered
yeah.
brains on the. What'd you think of Arn and Cody's goofy thing where he's like training them in the warehouse and they're all sucker punching him?
They're trying to make Arn look like a hard ass again. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
Like,
to me, what I thought was
enforcer.
so dumb though. I mean, like so Arn says he pulls out a Glock, you know, that promo. Next week he's burning Cody's shit. This week he's got Cody in the warehouse, and next week's already the Cody Malachi Black rematch. No, he's gonna get booed out of the building again.
Why didn't they take their time and build that up? Like,
They could have kept going.
why didn't they like spread that out to like this TV, this next TV? You know what I mean? Like, they're trying to rush it. That's what it seems like to me, and I don't know why. I let Malachi do what he does. He's still getting over. People are still popping. I don't care how many people he knocks out with that spin kick. It's beautiful, man. And he fucking lays it in. I bet it's smooth as shit because it looks so good. You know, like they gave that one young kid a chance. That young kid from the tag team.
Yeah, Dante Martin.
He's only like 18 years old or 19 years old.
Yeah, really young kid, real talented.
He's going to be great. He's a good worker now. Once he gets psychology down, you know, right now he's a spot kid because he can do all the spots, you know, but once he gets psychology down, shit, he's going to be great. He'll make fucking people look like a superstar. You know, I heard in WF, they won't hire you if you're over 25 now, the girls. Did you hear something about that?
I mean, I got to say it again. I think Vince has the better girls. I think his girls are they're the better athletes. I really think they are.
Well, yeah, well, he's got his NXT. He's training them the way he wants to train them. You know what I'm saying? So you got Natalie from the dungeon. Who better than her is going to train people at NXT? I mean, I think she was like one of the first trainers there. You know, and then now you got Charlotte Flair, and I don't know what's up with Becky Lynch. I think they brought her back too soon.
Yeah, I don't. I liked her in the Marine 5. I thought she played a good bad guy in that movie. But other than that, she's good looking in person. When we saw her live, so was Paige, who I never thought was pretty in person. She's really hot. No Britt Baker though.
She's got a lot of work done.
Oh yeah, even Charlotte's had a lot of work done lately.
What's it? Why? She didn't even need to.
I think it's a requirement. If you work for Vince, you have to get a boob job.
Knowing him, it probably is. You know, absolutely. I could see him putting that in a contract.
Even his daughter had one.
She's going to get one anyway.
Well, yeah, she's. You know, you mentioned that, you know, like you said, you didn't wear boots in the beginning. Why do you think all the guys, and I remember Cena was one of the first to come out and he just wore that when he was doing the rapper, you know, gimmick, he had the pumps because he'd pump them up, which I was get popped big time for that. But all these guys in AEW, I noticed they're all, they got a contract with Nike. They're all wearing like Nike shoes.
Hey, you know what I mean? It's like, I think it's Nike Dior. I don't know if they're buying them themselves or fucking Jordan. he may be just sending them a shitload of sneakers and says, wear them on television. You know what I mean? Because they're getting over.
Oh yeah, I had to buy my kid a pair. They ain't cheap either.
I'm buying a pair of Steelers ones. I'm getting a pair of them, the old school Steeler ones, man. I'm definitely getting a pair.
I got a pair of Laker ones in my car.
Oh yeah, I got fucking Kobe's when he was number 8, his sneakers.
What'd you think of the spot where Evil Uno, who I like the Dark Order, when he pulled off the Buck shoe, then he took off his sock, and then he did the Mr. Socko. I thought that was great.
I popped for it. I was just glad they didn't put like a face on it, because then they would have had some problems. But I was wondering what they were going to do with it. I think the Socko gimmick was all right. I mean, I popped for it, but I think they should have did something like different. Like maybe have the socks stink. You know what I mean? And they grab his nose, but you know what I mean? And it's like the smell is so bad. You know what I mean? I think they should have changed it around a little bit.
I like the Dark Order. My son's a huge mark for them. And for as goofy as they are, they can work, especially when it comes to those double team like moves. I mean, they just all 6 of them can start hitting stuff in tandem. It's pretty impressive to me.
I was impressed the last time I saw them. I actually sat and really watched it. And they were working for Vince for a few, you know, they were going in doing some jobs, and I think they hired him, or they didn't hire him, but they used him a few times on television, and they didn't push him, but they didn't look bad. That's why I was actually glad they got picked up by AEW, because I knew Vince wasn't going to do anything with them, you know.
The one guy, Silver, the bald one that goes like that. Yeah. I give him, like, he's only like 5'6". Like, I'm really tall next to him, but my God, he is jacked beyond. He's bigger than half the roster.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, if half the guys would go in the gym and do half the workout that he does, okay, they'd come back with some arms. You know what I'm saying? I mean, fuck. I mean, and then you got Taz's kid out there. How old's that kid? 16 years old?
Let's look. His name, he goes by Hook. I like Hook. Hook's got fans, but
so what is Taz teaching them judo, and now they call him Hook?
Let's see. Hook is Hook AEW. Taz is I know Team Taz. Hook has his own Wikipedia page, I think. Father stable. He was born in 1999. So 22?
22. So he's still young. Just got married.
He's married. He has a son, and he trains with Cody Rhodes.
So he's training at the factory over there.
He played high school football and studied judo. He's a fan of the New York Mets, the New York Knicks, the Philadelphia 76ers, the New York Islanders, and the Buffalo Bills. Taz helped design t-shirts. I remember Taz did that.
Yeah. Well, that's his boy. He's taking care of his kid. Want to make sure his kid has a job. That's what everybody's doing now. So
I wish the kid would do something. I would rather see that kid fight Punk than fucking Powerhouse Hobbs.
It don't make sense. I mean, there's a couple people, like I said before, I don't like the idea of Rey Mysterio's gimmick with his kid, that gimmick. He's too young. I still think he's too young. And I think Taz should know his kid's too young. You know what I mean? Why not? Why does he have to be out there? Why can't he be in the back, watching, learning, you know, working, paying his fucking dues? Why ain't he paying his dues?
But did Taz really ever pay dues? It seemed like or did he just kind of have a few matches and then get hooked up right with ECW?
He had a few matches. He was having matches here and there. I remember Tommy Dreamer actually told me they got called down to Memphis. So him and Taz and a couple other guys drove down to Memphis, and they worked.
Shut up, dogs.
We've all done it. You know what I'm saying? You know, I went to Memphis by myself, and then I went to Memphis with Larry, then I went to Memphis again with the Tennessee Stud. So it's always good to go to Memphis because It's where all the beginners go, and you always show up, and you can see the Hardy Boys when they were like 18 years old, like little kids. I'm telling you, man, I'm very surprised because I watch it. I watched those old classics, and when we came out, the Pitbulls, looked like fucking men, and we were still kids because we trained our asses off every day. We worked out, and we got big, and when we got in the ring, we looked bigger than some of the opponents we had. Where if you watched some of these guys today that were on there, like I'm talking superstars, you would be like, whoa, like he wasn't ready for that. You know what I mean? Like it was different. It was just different. We lucked out because as we learned how to wrestle, we tried to get our bodies big. We were already into bodybuilding anyway before. See, we jumped from bodybuilding to wrestling. And that's why we already had it kind of like a jump start, you know. But that helped us because the Wild Samoans would be like, Dennis Carluzzo, you're bringing us in on this date. Well, bring in the Pitbulls for us to wrestle, you know, or Hacksaw Jim Duggan, or all the WWF guys that would do independent shows. If they were a tag team, Cowboy Bob Orton, Don Baracco, all them fucking guys, they would always ask for us. So that's how we lucked out, man. We were just lucky. You know, we met King Curtis through Don Morocco and Kevin Sullivan, and that's what opened the door for us big time. You know, and then that's why we were able to go to Japan, and we were able to go to Australia and live in Australia and work for Purple Haze, man. Purple Haze was my boss.
He had some, I remember that was the only guy I ever saw that had fucking scars going all the way back. He had a receding scar line. And Mark Lewin, I believe, correct?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I like Florida Championship Wrestling. I liked how they showed some old footage of it on Dark Side of the Ring last week with the Luna episode. Showed a lot of ECW footage.
I wish they would have showed her with us, man. She was with us for a little while, man, with the Pitbulls. We were running with it with her. Tag team, man. She sucks, man. Luna was very nice, man. Very cool person to work with. She had that crazy voice, but her heart was in the business, man. She was, I didn't know a lot about her, like the demon part of her. Like I didn't know, like I never hung out and partied with her, maybe a couple beers or something. But I didn't know she was partying that crazy. The way they were showing it.
I could tell she was on cocaine from some of her interviews, but no more so than
Yeah.
a Roddy Piper or Randy Savage, any of those guys, you know.
Dude,
So
listen, in 1989, I walked in the fucking dressing room, okay? And I was like, Hulk Hogan's over here, Rowdy Piper's over here, Rick Rude's walking by with $100 bill on his ear. You got all these fucking guys. I walk in the bathroom, it's fucking jam-packed. The bathroom's jam-packed. There's two guys in each stall, okay? Then I go outside and I see a table with a line of 50 guys deep, walking up to Vince and a doctor and getting steroids. So I seen it all, man. I was there. It was insane. I mean, for me to say our ECW locker room was crazy, okay? Which it was. It was fucking crazy. We owned that fucking locker room. That's one thing that if a guy from another company that wasn't welcome walked into that locker room, you're going to get your ass beat 9 times out of 10, or you're going to run out of it quick. You know what I mean? That's how our locker room was. And they knew it because when we would go, like I'd pop into WWF or WCW shows if they were in Philly, you know, and I walked right the fuck in. Nobody would say, yo, where you fucking guys going? You shitting me? Can you imagine somebody looking at me and my partner saying, where the fuck do you think we're going? We would have gave them a beating right there, and been like, where's fucking Bischoff? You know, where they at? You know, where's our boys? That guy used to call us from the fucking his jet. Okay. Rick Rude be like, yo, what are you doing? I'm like, where you at, man? You sound like you're in the fucking air. He's like, I mean, we're on the jet, man. We're in Bischoff's jet. I'm like, you mean Turner's jet?
yeah, Turner.
Yeah, I was always breaking their balls. They're like, yeah. But they're like, come meet us, come hang out with us. They liked us, man. That's why, but we were cool with Paul, that's why we told Paul, like, look, I know what's going on. I'm not stupid. We know what's going on. You owe a lot of money to some of these guys. I don't want to get in that position with you. We have a good deal. Let's keep our deal. Ty Gordon helped us make that deal. And he pretty much made it up for us. You know what I mean? So we can go back and forth to Japan. So it was like, look, I'm giving you 2 weeks, man. We're going to WCW. I'm giving you my 2 weeks. And he knew that he was selling. He knew that they were going to try to buy WCW probably. He didn't tell us. He was probably like loving it, man. Like, you guys think you're going to leave me and go make all that money?
Yeah,
They offered us a lot of money. Oh, yeah. I was rubbing, dude, I couldn't wait to get my new halberd, man. I was like dying, man.
Now, when they showed Luna, because she just had that small run in ECW, but Gangrel was over there too, her husband. Remember, he had a couple one-off matches with Dreamer. Why didn't he stick around there? I always thought he was fairly talented. It was a unique look for its time.
Yeah, but I think at that time, didn't Vince grab him and put him with Edge and Christian?
Yeah, they were the Brood. He's still living off that gimmick.
Yeah, that's all he's got, man. That's what he's got. Yeah, he's cool. I mean, I see him in the airport a lot because he's a Florida guy like I am. I always respected him. He was Luna's husband to me. You know what I mean? And like I said, she was our manager. I think she was our manager before Francine. I think she might have been our first manager there, to be perfectly honest with you, female-wise.
No, Beulah was the top girl. Francine, well, I guess you could say Beulah and Francine were the top girls. I guess that's a better way to put it. Did any of the girls that they brought over there, like, because there was, for a while, you had a lot. You had Lady Alexandra, Missy Hyatt, fucking Sunny. I mean, Dawn Marie. Did they all fit in there? Or?
How about all the porn stars?
Well, yeah, Jenna
Don't
Jameson
forget
at the one
the
show.
porn stars. You're gonna forget the porn star. We had the hooker that blew. What's it that?
Divine Brown, Candy, something like that. Hugh Grant, the one that blew Hugh Grant. Bill Alfonso brought her in.
We had the whore that blew Hugh Grant in New York and got snagged. That's how hardcore we were, man.
Fonzie always went to the massage parlors, I remember he would say.
We would have to fight, dude. If he fell asleep, that was the worst part, because then we wouldn't know what massage parlor he was in, because he'd be sleeping. It's like fucking Vader. Vader would fall asleep. We'd go to the bathhouses, and Vader was so big, they had to put 2 tables together just so he could have a table to lay on. And me and Squirt, we'd always go creeping late. We'd get our hot and cold baths in, get cleaned up after the show and get our massage on, fucking go out and get ready to go fucking eat, So we're looking for marks, and they know who we are. When they see us, they grab us and they beg us, come with us. We'll present those. We'll feed you. We'll give you drinks all fucking night. I mean, we go to bars or restaurants and that literally the owner will not close. He'll stay open until we want to leave. I remember calling my girl at 4:00 in the morning, their time. What was it, 4:00 in the afternoon, your time, I think? Yeah. And she's like, what the fuck are you doing up? I'm like, I'm in the middle of the road, man. There's nobody near me. I'm like the only person out. Everything's closed. And this is in Tokyo, or one of them small towns. And this one guy, we went and ate with him, had dinner. He bought us dinner, and he was cool. And the bar, they would not close the bar, man. And I'm looking at this guy, and I'm like, man, don't you got to get up and work in like 2 hours? He's like, oh, fuck it, man, fuck it. I don't care. I'm with ECW Pitbulls. I don't care. And he's taking pictures. Like I said, man, when we got there, we were very young. I don't even think we were drinking age, man, or just turned drinking age. It was very odd for us to be that young and be there. And I just thank the guys that were there with us, the Americans like Bam Bam, Vader, Brian Blair, the Wild Samoans, Yokozuna, all the guys, Jericho, Benoit, Eddie, Dean, all them guys were so nice to us, man. Owen, they could have been dickheads, you know what I mean? But they once they realized we could hang and they were cool with us, they made us feel at home. And I didn't want to work in the United States at that point, bro. I was really, honest to God, just exhausted of the point of working in the United States at that time. I don't know what it was. I guess I was making more money in Japan. It felt more, because I seen how hard it was to get there for other people. And we had a clean, open slate to get in. It was like Tokyo Joe's like, hello, you want to go to Japan? I mean, for that to happen, that was luck. So thank God he found us when he did. Because who knows? I mean, we probably would have went and worked for Vince like we were supposed to. Who knows what would have happened? They had set up with us against the Hart Foundation. Probably would have been us and the Harts. They were going to drop the belts, and then it was going to probably put us with the Bulldogs. That's what I think that they would have ended up doing with us at the time. But it didn't work out. We could have drew them. I told Vince straight up, we would draw you millions of dollars. British Bulldogs versus the Pitbulls, WrestleMania. We'll fucking sell out. And we can be main event. We don't even need Hogan as main event. You know what I mean?
Now, Fonzie was the ref in Florida Championship Wrestling, NWA, ref for Vince, WCW, everywhere. Did a lot of people pick his brain when he came over there to ECW, like to ask him stuff?
Oh, yeah. Oh, especially because he worked. I mean, he was refereeing Baba's matches in Japan.
Yeah, I remember. He was over there for the big show with Flair and everything.
Hogan. Hulk Hogan versus Baba. I mean, come on, that's a 65,000 stadium sellout. He would referee that match. Yeah, I would always pick Fonzie's brain, man. Always. And a lot of referees I noticed would pick his brain too, because he's a great referee. But when it comes to managing, especially champions that he does, the gimmick is perfect. And he earned that. I mean, at 17 years old, he was driving around working for Championship Wrestling. All he was a driver. I mean, he would drive Matsui, the Japanese man.
Oh, Hiro Matsuda.
Hiro Matsuda, who broke Hogan's leg, just so you know. His job was, I think, the boss. Who was running that Florida?
The Graham.
Graham told straight up. He said, "Fonzie, you are going to drive Matsuda around. You will drive him to every single show. That's your job." And Fonzie was only 17 years old, and he said, "Yes, sir, I can handle that." And he would drive him everywhere. He told me he was on the road with them. They did a 3-month straight run. They never even went home. And Mil Mascaris was on that run. He told me, because I asked him, I said, listen, because I always wondered, because Mil Mascaris was one of my favorite wrestlers, one of them. And I said, did he ever take his mask off? And Fonzie looked at me straight in the eye, man. He was at my house, and he's like, Gar, I'm telling you, I swear, for 3 fucking months, that guy never took that fucking mask off. He was in the shower with the mask on. Okay, he was taking showers and he had the mask on. So, I mean, he said straight up, I never saw his face for 3 months. That whole straight 3-month tour. I was like, no way. He's like, I swear. It blew my mind. That's how hardcore and, that's how old school that shit is back then, man. That's when wrestling meant something. Everybody had territories. And then Fonzie lucked out. He just so happened to, go to a show one night, and one of the referees didn't show up. I don't know if it was Dusty or one of them guys said, yo, can you ref? I'm sure he probably didn't know how, but said, I can. And he did, and he got a job. Then he started making some money. Now he was part of the clique. He wasn't just a driver. He earned his fucking wings, did what he had to do, and now, he's one of the boys.
Now, I mentioned before, I never bought into the mole story, but they always said that Fonzie was being punished when he had to fight Beulah, and she split him open, gashed him bad. But the one story that I've always heard, and I wonder if it's true, that he was all, busted up bad, bleeding. He threw himself in front of a car at a Wawa so he could go to the hospital without insurance. Is that true, or is that just something stupid?
I don't know if that happened, bro.
Because part of me thinks
I'm
it's
not gonna
fake, and the other
say
part
it.
of me can picture it.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see it happening. That's why I'm not saying it didn't happen. I didn't. I don't know if it did or it didn't, but I do know he whacked himself real good in that match, boy,
Oh yeah.
because he hit himself once and then he was hitting himself again. And I think she nailed him with the fucking pan, and it really I think he tapped the vein at that point, and he was. I mean, the blood got that match over. That's what
Oh yeah.
made that match.
He was ready to pass out. You can see parts videos just kind of
Oh
like
yeah,
that.
he played it off great, dude. It was a masterpiece. We always talk about it. You know what I mean? He'll come over and we'll be like, fuck man, that was a masterpiece match. And he admits it. He's like, if it wasn't for the blood daddy, if it wasn't for that blood daddy, man, it wouldn't have got over as big as it did. But shit, it was over.
Yep. Well, that's why Britt Baker got over when she fought Thunder Rosa. She took a face full of tacks. She got busted open. I have the shirt with her bleeding. All it takes is that one time, and that blood really can help.
Listen, that match was a great match. I got to put her over. She worked Thunder Rose. Thunder Rose can make anybody look good. You know, she could work and tell a story. That's what she did. And shit, man, they had a great match. I got to admit, that was her best match. She got color. It was her best match, and it got her over. So now she can hold the strap.
I'd have no problem getting color if I had to. I can make a slice. Just got to be careful. You slice too much, you might hit a vein, like you said, Fonzie did.
Yeah, you gotta always know where your veins are in your forehead.
I wouldn't have asked New Jack to do it.
No, you don't ask New Jack to do it. You never ask. You never, honestly, this is what I was taught. Never ask anybody to gig you. You always gig yourself. Don't ever, 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 ever ask anybody to gig you. That's what I was taught.
People would get mad because I'm not an actual wrestler, but I have to say this. I thought Perry Saturn was the worst blader ever because I always saw him do it. He was so obvious. He'd sometimes stick his head under the ring and he'd come back out. It was like, or you'd see him getting the gimmick, but he would always go underneath something and then come back out. It was like, whereas Bret Hart, I never knew if he was bleeding hard way or if he had the gimmick. But yeah, Saturn, I could always tell. He would always stick his head underneath something and he'd come out all full of blood.
Yeah, everybody's different. Like everybody has their different ways. I'll give you an example. Pitbull too, Anthony Durante, my partner, rest in peace. He used to keep his blade right in his mouth, right here.
That's crazy.
A lot of old timers would keep their blade right there in their cheek, right in their mouth, because they're so used to dipping. When they would dip, you know, with the tobacco shit that they always do. I never got into that. But they would always do that. So it was easy for them to keep it in their mouth. And then when they needed it, they spit it out in their hand, gig themselves, and put it right back in their mouth.
I'd be afraid I'd swallow it.
Me too. I never did that. I would always, well, Ric Flair showed me a way of doing it where you could put it on your finger. And I used to do it that way most of the time. And then I changed it to where I had it on my wrist, and I'd always take it out of my wrist. But then as you get older, you get lazier. And I got to the point where I just hand them to the referee. You know, I'll give them like two of them. Let's say, give me one when I need it. I'll be down on the ground and he'll drop it right between my hands. Nobody sees it. I grab it, do what I got to do. I'll gig myself. I don't stop. I don't think I stop usually and gig myself and then continue. I think I do it as I'm doing something. At least I try to. But you got to be careful. And yeah, I've been busted open the hard way too, man, which sucks. You know, I had a referee ready to stop a match. And I'm like telling him, no. He's like, I'm going to stop this fucking match, man. You're bleeding. I mean, it was squirting. Probably it would have hit my computer from this far. It was like if I wanted to, this middle vein, I must have tapped it by accident. It was just spraying a little bit if I like really gave it, you know, some thrust. And he's like, I'm calling it. I'm calling it. I'm like, you fucking call it. I'm kicking your ass, man. No fucking way. Because it was doing a dog collar match.
Well, not like in all those death matches that I talk about a lot. That's all hard way blood, isn't it?
No.
Really, when they get hit with the light tube?
No, I think they still gig themselves.
Really?
Yeah, light tubes don't, they're not, light tubes ain't gonna cut you unless he's trying to cut you with it. You know what I'm saying? Like if Nick Cage breaks a night light
digs
tube over your
his.
fucking head and then puts it on your head, yeah, you're gonna gig, but technically you really don't want to use that shit because it gets in your blood, you're fucked. So these guys still gig. Don't let them fool you with the bricks and all that shit. And some shit's getting a little out of hand. You know what I mean? I pick up a cinder block and throw it on your head, you're dead. You ain't gonna bleed. You're gonna fucking die. You know what I mean?
I like the pizza cutter that he does in the mouth. I wouldn't take it personally, but I think it's a great spot on TV.
No, like I said, it's where business is a work, people.
I would take the thumbtacks.
I've done thumbtacks before many times.
I've stepped on plenty. It only hurts for a second.
I was in Ian Rotten and Axel Rotten versus the Pitbulls. We were in Alabama. And I remember fucking Ian Rotten, I grabbed him and he's like, DDT me, right in the thumbtacks. I'm thinking to myself, wait a minute. I just bumped the thumbtacks. He didn't fucking touch him. I got 50 thumbtacks in my back. Walking back to the dressing room, tap, 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 tap. They're a pain in the ass, man, to get out of your boots, man. They suck. That's what I hate about thumbtacks.
Ian still does that deathmatch shit down there, doesn't he?
Oh, in Kentucky, probably.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's been a long time since
I remember he did his first when he did his first like Ian Rotten's King of the Deathmatch tournament. Yeah. And it was like a really good tournament. Axel was there, I remember. I think he had a few ECW guys, but Ian was like the commentator with his friend, and they were just sitting there like, yeah, that burned me good. Remember that? It hurt. It was like, God, this is the worst thing ever. So I never finished watching it, but the matches, I had to mute some of it, but
I might have been, he actually brought me down there hurt. I had to get surgery on my knee. And I remember I told him I couldn't work. He's like, I don't care, man. Get on a plane and come down anyway. So he bought my flight anyway. And I went down anyway. He took care of me. So can't say nothing bad about him.
He had a nice little thing going for him at the IWA down there. He had his death matches. Sometimes he had Punk there, Cabana, AJ. I don't know if it's still running like that, but he was doing okay.
I'm sure he made some money. I mean, like I said, I had no problem working him in action. They were, we do what we got to do. You know what I mean? It's just another night. It's not like working Teddy and Johnny, the Public Enemy, but it's like I loved working the Eliminators. That was sweet. The Bruise Brothers. That was a night off, man. Samoa SWAT team or whatever they were called at that time.
They had about 70 different names. I liked when you guys fought the Eliminators. Eliminators, I was really a mark for the two of them. I was pissed when Saturn went over to WCW because I kind of liked the team. They did very unique moves. Especially Cronus was so athletic for as big as he was.
He was a gymnast. Yeah, I didn't know he was a gymnast until I seen him do a split in the ring. I was like, how in the fuck do you do a split in the ring? I said, without your balls hanging out. I'm like, what the fuck?
I always thought the Dudleys benefited because the Public Enemy left. You were hurt. So Anthony was doing singles. Eliminators split up. They had to push the Dudleys. It was the only tag team, and they just managed to kind of get a ride off of it all those years later.
They did. I mean, look, every time we had the belts 3, 4, 5. I mean, I'm going way back to TWA, but we had the belts a lot. When I was in East, when it was Extreme, we had the belts 3 times. We just had to drop them because I was going through an injury fucking stage in my life where bang, if it wasn't one thing, it was a fucking other thing. They give me the belt. I fucking blew my tricep the night before. I have to drop it the following weekend. I have no choice. And who do we drop it to? We drop it to the Dudleys. You know what I mean? So it was like every time we got the strap, I got hurt, which ruined our fucking run. And we had to drop the belt to somebody else. You know what I mean? It was that. I mean, I was working in North Carolina, man, for 6 nights a week. never got injured, never got hurt. You just go through phases, and it just happened to be my body happened to be breaking down on me at that point. I guess it was rough in ECW. Even though I'd worked 6 nights a week in North Carolina, I think I pulled a muscle once. You know what I mean? Or had a red eye once. Something stupid, man. Anthony, I think, got more hurt than I did back then. And then in ECW, he never really got hurt. And they make a big deal. I have to say this. You guys you ECW fans got to go back to the old ECW match when me and Anthony are wrestling. And Anthony totally tears his bicep open. Okay, I'm talking about that much. Way bigger than that hole that an FTR guy had on his arm. It was apples and oranges. And you seen the big deal they made out of that?
Oh, it could have ended my partner's career, and he's banned.
My partner finished the match with a hole in his bicep, man, and was gushing fucking blood. And I sit back and I'm just like, damn, they didn't even stop our match when Ant did that. You know what I mean? And they stopped it and did all these things for that match and put it over. I was just thinking to myself, damn, Paul didn't even realize he could have put that over. He did show it later on in the TV. If you watch the TV shows, it shows Anthony tearing his fucking bicep right there, but he continues working. Just like when we were in Florida, we did the spot where he shoots me in and I'm on the outside. I shoot him from the inside out, and he still had his chain on. Took him over so fast, he landed on his fucking head on the concrete, got right back up. And then started beating the shit out of Bull Payne and body slammed him. And I remember Joey Styles is like, oh my God, he's a Pitbull. He can't be stopped. You know what I mean? Because it was sick. He landed on his fucking head. It was fucking crazy, man.
I remember the beatings you guys, everybody there used to lay on Richards.
Dude, I used to give Richards beatings, dude. Beatings. But I mean, we worked good together. I mean, we would do a lot of loops together, me and Stevie. I mean, out of a lot of the guys in ECW, man, I had it pretty easy. I mean, I was doing loops with Stevie Richards when I was by myself, or I was doing loops with fucking Mikey Whipwreck. Very rarely would I work. They were pushing me at that time, so they were just giving me my push. And then when Ant came, that's when we started working really good people. And I mean, I had a good run with Taz, wasn't bad. And then, but it was before he became the Tasmaniac, the Tasmanian, or Taz. He was the Tasmanian Devil first.
I remember when Richards was there, he was getting pushed because he was main event at the pay-per-view. Then Raven left, and he went with Raven for like, a month, if that. And then he came back to ECW, but I don't know, it seemed like he had heat on him or something because he never elevated any further again. It's like he went right back down to the bottom of the card.
Well, Paul probably did that on purpose because he left.
Now he's jacked as shit. He's like a trainer, I guess, for DDP or something like that.
Yeah, he looks good. Hey, he looks probably out of everybody, he looks probably the best.
He had a great run with the Blue Meanie. I mean, they're comedy duo, but I mean, shit, they had good 3-4 years.
Nah, they're gonna bring it back. We're gonna start running some stuff, and we definitely want to bring the Blue Gold Order in because that's the best.
Oh, it was gold.
You gotta have comedy, man. Comedy, you gotta laugh. You gotta have a good time. Even if it's one match, you know what I mean. It just breaks the monopoly. It just breaks it up.
Oh, Sandman would come out, cane the shit out of him. Hey, yo. And then he'd leave. Or 911 just come out, choke slam. It was an easy pop.
Done. No, that was it. They're done for the night. They had it easy, some of them guys. Loved it.
I would have loved to have seen 911 get a big push.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, the push they gave him, he was Sabu's he was in charge of Sabu at one point. That was like his first push. He would bring Sabu out on the cart all chained up and shit. And 911's a big motherfucker, man.
He was.
I mean, he's not some guy he's not a weightlifter. I mean, he'll get on the bench and put 400 pounds up, like rep it out, like no problem. He's just he's farm strong. You know what I mean?
Is he still alive?
Yeah, yeah. You should see his son. His son's huge. His son's in the business.
I remember his choke slam where like Undertaker and Kane, they always had the hand in the back, to kind of, he just threw you down. I mean, it was
Dude,
murderous.
he picked me and he double choke slammed me and Anthony. I don't know if you ever saw that match where we were beating the shit out of him. And he came back and grabbed us both and just double choke slammed both of us in the middle of the ring, just like nothing, man. It's like I could just remember grabbing his forearm and just feeling the power and just saying, holy shit, damn. Like when I'm walking back and I stop and just look at Taz and just keep walking, and I say to myself, I wouldn't fuck with him, Taz, because he will fuck you up. Because at one point Taz wanted to fight him, and I'm like, bro, I don't want to, I mean, I like you, I don't want to see you get hurt, but he will fucking hurt you. And you're gonna lose a limb. There's no question about it, man. There's guys that are naturally strong, and then there's guys that are fucking farm strong, like a Dante Culpepper. Remember that quarterback for the
Yep.
Vikings? I knew him personally. That guy is farm strong. He's an animal, and that's how 911 was. And people don't understand. There's a big difference. He gets a hold of you. All you gotta do is grab your throat, man. You're dead in a second. He'll crush your larynx in a second. Done.
Yeah, remember he hit the choke slam on Taz and Ted just stood up and T-boned him one. It was like, but you could tell even the crowd was like, oh, come
They didn't believe it.
on. No, that was not believable at all.
Come on, we had smart marks. I admit they know they are. I respect them. I'm not going to insult their intelligence. And Taz didn't want to put fucking 911 over. Taz had a problem putting everybody over, bro. He didn't want to put nobody over.
I guess with that, I don't have anything else to ask you this week. Do you got anything left?
No, I do want to watch that Halloween. I'm going to get on that. I think everybody should check that out. There's only
Good.
one more left.
Yeah, one more after they're going to start filming it in a couple months. This one's, it's good. We watched it last week. It's real good.
Yeah, I'm down. I'm probably going to watch that tonight.
Yeah, but let everybody know. We'll have to talk about it next week.
Yeah, anybody out there watching football, check it out. Pittsburgh actually got 2 in a row.
I'm a Vikings man. I got nothing to be proud of.
Hey, let's see what happens. Still early.
Still early.
Still early. Hey, I'm excited for the Super Bowl. Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, you're going back old school now.
Oh, yeah, very.
Come on, it's about time they done something right.
It's not going to beat J-Lo, though.
No.
That was the best ever.
Shakira. I'd rather have Shakira.
I'd be like Dreamer. I'd be like, I'll take them both. I'm hardcore.
I hear you, brother. All right, peace.
All right, guys, we will see you next week.